I tell you what intrigues me, that you said that, the government needs, there's a lot they can do, they need to reach out to the city.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people watching and listening saying, no, they need to reach out to me.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do.
But they also need to prove that they have an economic plan for this country. And the city is integral to that. The reason why you're getting such a scare with the pound is because they're not managing communications, coming back to what you were saying, the right way. This is all about communication. You have to tell both the city and the people that there's something coming for them in the budget that's going to actually be sustainable for their long term, for their children.
And instead, what we're hearing from Liz Truss is that she is determined to go with it. She doesn't mind being unpopular. Is that the right tack to be taking? I mean, we went through that long leadership election, and true blue Tories are really hoping that they've got a really true blue leader. And yet, within a week, frankly, it's 3, but there are 2 weeks of it were obviously taken up with mourning our lost Queen. So only about 8 days, 9 days in office, and she already has lost the communications battle.
Right. Well, this comes back to rubbishing the membership, which we saw all the way through the Tory leadership election. Not just from the Truss campaign, but from all sides. There wasn't enough emphasis put on the ordinary individual. And this is all very much...
How can she get it so wrong so quickly?
Well, I think we're used to a top-down management structure in government, and there's not much listening from the grassroots up. And this has always been the problem for the last few governments. And this is why the Tory leadership is so out of touch with the membership, because they're not really listening to what's being said on the ground. They're simply implementing instead of listening. So
in that case, they deserve a kicking, don't they?
Well, you could say that, yeah, but I think the alternative is still worse. That's my personal opinion. So I think it needs to be more about communication. It needs to be more about solutions. It needs to be less about rhetoric.
So what should have happened in the budget?
Well, I think if you're going to go with that kind of budget, there also needs to be an announcement that we're pushing for massive internal growth, that we're opening up small businesses, that we're providing relief to entrepreneurs, to the normal taxpayer, and we're looking for energy independence. I haven't seen those words yet. I think we need to be putting that on the table.
But none of that provides any immediate relief, or not. There's the price cap thing today, which is still an increase in the price cap.
Yeah.
But there's not a lot on the table there which says to the ordinary voter and those who are really struggling, yeah, we're going to help you out.
Well, the thing is, you have to slow down on spending. I think everybody is kind of on the same page. The government's spending more on this current scheme than it's going to have spent on the furlough scheme, which was already close to World War II spending, if you take everything into consideration. It's a hell of a lot of spending going on. So it's all about how you rein that in. I think this is one way of doing it, but it needs to be alongside other things. It can't just be rhetoric. It has to be solutions to say how we're also going to raise people's pockets, as well as saying that we're going to reduce tax. And I think that has to come from the business perspective. She has to show people that there is a chance to grow their own businesses and grow their own income. And therefore, you're going to have to cope with inflation. That's just a reality. We've got to this position not just based on the crisis we're going through now with energy, with the war in Ukraine, with all these different things, but also because of consistent bad policy for so long. This is not something that can be reversed overnight. It's a structural change that needs to happen.